Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice Radio. So today, I'm going to be showing you a very weird but really cool deck that's gone and won a tournament over in Japan, and it all revolves around that new Unfezant, the one that looked kind of bad, but I was fairly sure had some potential in a weird kind of deck, and ladies and gentlemen, it absolutely does. So we should probably remind ourselves what Unfezant actually does. Now, the one colourless energy, 40 damage, that's not going to get us excited. That's not really what we're talking about here. What we are talking about is 3 colourless energy, 90 damage. You may shuffle all cards attached to both players' active Pokemon into their owner's deck. Now, we've actually found a way, ladies and gentlemen, to make that beneficial rather than a bad thing. And the way we make it beneficial is triple acceleration energy. Now, this gives you 3 colourless energy, but it can only be attached to an evolved Pokemon, and at the end of the turn, you have to discard it. Now, what's really cool is that Unfezant doesn't discard it. Unfezant attacks, has to shuffle all the cards attached to it, energy, etc., back into its deck, including triple acceleration energy, and then when you go to discard it, it's not there anymore, it doesn't get discarded. So now you're shuffling everything attached to your opponent's active Pokemon into their deck, all their energy, any tools, etc., and the only thing you're shuffling back is a triple acceleration energy, which is awesome, because you don't care, because it's better than discarding it. That, ladies and gentlemen, is pretty gosh darned ridiculously good. And that's the general plan of this deck. You want to be using Unfezant to just get rid of all your opponent's energy, because sooner or later they are going to run out of energy. They are not going to have enough energy because you are getting rid of all the energy on the active every turn. Now, sure, you're not discarding it and blah blah blah, but they've got to get it back out again. And against decks like Malamar and Naganadel, it's actually even more fun because they want the energy in the discard pile, but it won't be there because it goes back into their deck. Something that's using a Tapu Koko Prism Star has lost Zone Tapu Koko, so they can't use it anymore. They've just lost the energy. You're only doing 90 damage, but when you're basically stopping your opponent attacking, it really doesn't matter. Now, there is really only one other Pokemon we're using here. There is literally one other Pokemon, and everything else has run away, and we don't care anymore. It's Bominable! Now, we're only playing a 1-1 line here, but we only want to play a 1-1 line because it's the fight alone Bominable. Double colourless energy. I mean, look, obviously here we're using triple acceleration energy. It works just as well. And what it does for the energy, for the 2 energy, 30 damage, but if you've got fewer Pokemon in play than your opponent, it does 50 more for each Pokemon fewer that you have in play. Hits weakness against stuff like Pikarom, which is lovely, but it can also just be a really big attacker if you can manipulate it so you just have Bominable left in play. It's not the easiest thing to actually do, but if you can do it, and that's it. That's the entire Pokemon line. We've got a 4-1-4 Unfezant line. We've got a 1-1 Bominable line. And that really is it. There is nothing else. And in terms of energy, we are just playing for triple acceleration energy. Because what else would we want to play here? Double colourless energy doesn't do it. It's not good enough. We need free energy. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this will do it quite nicely indeed. Cool. So what about the trainer line then? Well, in terms of supporters, obviously we're playing 4 rare candy, and then really the deck is built to try and make sure that we get our stage 2 out. Because if you don't get your Unfezant, you basically do nothing in this deck. And doing nothing is a very, very bad thing. We don't want that, ladies and gentlemen. We don't want that. So we do play 4 copies of Lily. Lily is good because you can empty your hand and then draw with Lily, whereas something like a Cynthia would mean you got to shuffle up and hope to get the stage 2 and the rare candy. Then, of course, we're playing Erica's Hospitality because it's straight draw, and like I've just said, straight draw when you're looking for a 2-card combo is better. And then we're playing 4 copies of Green Search, because if you've got no Pokemon in play with an ability, and none of your Pokemon here have abilities, you get to search your deck for 2 trainer cards and put them in your hand. And that could be rare candy, but it could also be something like, oh, let's spoil the surprise, Energy Lotto. Energy Lotto is a really, really important card here, because it's the best way we've got for searching for triple acceleration energy. No, we'd rather not do this if we had a choice. We'd rather just be able to search for our triple acceleration energy. But that's not really a choice you've got, ladies and gentlemen, so don't worry your pretty little head about it. The fact of the matter is, you need to find it, and although this isn't perfect, you don't actually get it. You look at the top 7 cards of your deck, and if it's in the top 7 cards, you can have it. But in lieu of anything better, we'll have to accept it. This will do rather nicely. And then the other supporter we've got here is a couple copies of Guzman. Guzman, again, is really particularly good in this particular deck, because your opponent may be trying to build up a Pokemon on the bench, accelerating loads of energy, etc. So if you can gust it into the active and then get rid of all that energy, it is going to really, really help. In terms of Pokemon search here, we have got 4 Nest Ball, and we have got 4 Ultra Ball. Well, of course we do, ladies and gentlemen. They are how we grab our Pokemon. Nest Ball for the basics, Ultra Ball for the evolutions, jobs are good 'un. And then, of course, we've got a couple copies of Rescue Stretcher, which will get your Pokemon back when they are KO'd. And when you're playing a 1-1 Bominable line, that's pretty important. But also, you are literally playing 5 full evolutions. 4 Unfezant, 1 Bominable. And your opponent's got to knock out 6 of them to win. Yeah, we need to be prepared for if we need a 6th one of these. Now, the other thing that I really, really like about this deck is that we're playing 4 Acrobike and 3 Judge Whistle. It's all for speed. Acrobike, look at the top 2 cards of your deck, put 1 in your hand and discard the other one. And Judge Whistle, you get to draw a card. Now, to be fair, you do also have the option of picking up a Judge out of your discard pile, but given that this deck doesn't play Judge, that's kind of irrelevant. It's entirely irrelevant, ladies and gentlemen. It is entirely irrelevant. There are only 2 things you're looking for when playing this deck. Thing 1, rare candy and pheasant to get your stage 2 out. Thing 2, triple acceleration energy. And I don't just mean the first turn, because you're shuffling it back into your deck every time. The good news is you're never discarding it, and seriously, your opponent can't really get rid of it. The only option they've got is catching it in your hand with a Team Skull Grunt. They can't play something like an Enhanced Hammer, because you attach it, attack, shuffle it into your deck. But you still need to find it every turn, and Energy Lotto helps, but so does Acrobike and Judge Whistle. We've then got 1 copy of Choice Band to do a little bit of extra damage. We also have 1 copy of Gladion here, just helps you get stuff out of your prizes, whether that's a triple acceleration energy, rare candy, or whatever it might be. Firstly, it's good for just getting that out. But secondly, you might be in a position where you know there's a triple acceleration energy in your prizes. Well, great news. Gladion will allow you to search it out of your prizes, so you can guarantee you'll have the triple acceleration energy. That's pretty cool. And then finally, we got a couple copies of Unmanned Power Plant. This takes away the abilities of EX and GX Pokemon. It's pretty good. And you know what? You don't play any EX or GX Pokemon. Whereas this will stop abilities with stuff like Dedenne, or like a million others. So it's really, really nice. It is a stadium of choice for a lot of decks over in Japan at the moment. It's not the only one there, but make no mistake about it, this is seeing a huge amount of play over in Japan. It is a kind of go-to stadium. I love this deck. I don't know whether it's going to be consistently good enough. I don't know whether it's a little bit too unreliable, but I do know that when you're constantly having your energy shuffled back into your deck and just being shut out of the game, you're not going to be able to win. And that, ladies and gentlemen, that is what Unfezant does. So there we go. I'm a big fan of this deck. I'm pretty excited to try it out when it comes out. But I would very much like to know what you think. So please do let me know in the comment section. Go nuts. But please do remember the rule, ladies and gentlemen. Be nice, would you? And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And please do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassyPlays, where we talk about games that don't have Pokemon in. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.